Hello, my name is Alan, and today I'm facilitating the third of four sessions of Against the Dark Conspiracy. This is my own supernatural thriller game, recently kickstarted. We are playing the demonic conspiracy version of the game. This is its first run out, so I'm quite interested for feedback at the end. This game, like most of my online games, was organized as part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. And sorry, just there we go. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, search Gauntlet-RPG and you'll find all about us, or check out usually the first of any series of my online games. But I don't want to go into all of that today. So, we are playing within the Gauntlet Code of Conduct. We are playing with an open door in case anyone has to step away or needs a breather. We are playing with lines and veils. And we are playing with the X card. All these players know about those. If you don't, as a viewer, then please do check out an earlier video where you will find out more about the details. So with all that in mind, I will go left to right on the character keeper and say, I forgot, my pronouns are he, him, I beg your pardon. Let me start with Greg. Greg, say hello, tell us your pronouns and tell us about Jocko.
Yes, I'm Greg, he, him, and I'm playing Jocko, disgraced Navy SEALs, operative, who still, even though he kind of got screwed over and was disgraced, he still believes in fulfilling his mission as a Navy SEAL and, supporting the United States. So, and his mom, unknowns to him, but known to the players, his mom has disappeared, probably due to the conspiracy.
Yeah, and the fact that he introduced her into the game. Life's a bitch. So yes, so and Jocko, last week I think the high point for me from your efforts was pushing a demonic vicar through a portal to hell.
Oh yeah, yeah. He did the Captain America punches Hitler kind of move.
And you were certain you pinned him down, but he opened a portal and fell into hell.
Yeah. Yep.
From whence he may return, we'll find out later today or next time. Okay, I beg your pardon, hit my mute by mistake. Sean, say hello, tell us your pronouns, tell us about Tony McGrath.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean, he, him, and I'll be playing Tony, also he, him. Tony is an Irishman who joined the Camorra in strange circumstances, and he is a kind of a crazy guy who likes to build things and thinks he knows it all. And he is, while helping these people here against the demons, he's also here for his kind of thirst for knowledge about this unknown stuff and to find out more about these dark things going on. So he was very pleased with last time having found information about the ritual going on and having hints of maybe us trying to determine getting a holy weapon. So he is very happy with all these developments at the moment.
Yeah, and I think the high point for me last time was seeing Tony, who got into the wedding as Lord McGrath, because he is always eccentrically dressed, marching up the aisle of the church with his rosary before him, seeking to deter two imps that had materialized over the altar. Then stuff happened. So yeah. Moving along, Michael, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Kate Hayes.
Hi, I'm Michael, he, him, and I'll be playing Kate Hayes, she, her. Kate is a former CIA officer who specializes in disguise. She's involved because she wants to do the right thing. And Kate is not aware that her husband, Dr. Jake Foley, a biologist, has been targeted by the conspiracy.
Oh dear, yeah, and it was Kate, I think, that raised the question last time of where could I find a holy weapon, and there was a suggestion perhaps that the crypt might have held, as it is the tomb of Saint Bridget. Perhaps there was something there, but in the end, improvising, Kate dipped her throwing knives in the baptismal water of the font and hit an imp with it. We're still not entirely certain how effective or long-term that was, or just how holy that was, but it was worth a shot. And then finally, Mendel, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Vera Stelmacher.
Hi, I'm Mendel. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Vera Stelmacher, who uses she, her pronouns, and is a former Federal Forest Service officer from Germany. She got embroiled into this whole demonic conspiracy thing when her brother, who was a paleographer, vanished mysteriously while investigating something presumably related to the demons. She's pretty much motivated with just trying to find out what's going on and protect her nephew, who is a student in university.
Yes, and high points for me last time was Vera spotting that there were two kinds of people in the congregation, people wearing pins that identified them as members of a cult, and those who didn't. And realizing that none of the characters had a pin, she grabbed a handful from nearby demonic cult members and distributed threw them around the church so everyone could stay in the moment rather than drifting away. So that was my high point for Vera last time. Okay, so you escaped by the skin of your teeth, really. Kate tried to get one of the cultists, an altar boy, when you fled for your lives, but sadly didn't manage to get them out. So you have escaped back to the safe house. But because we were short of time last time, I don't think I did the end of session arrangements, or at least I don't remember doing them. So I'm going to do them now. So at the end of every session, the GM will ask following questions. Did the team achieve the stated objective of the operation? Now, given that you thought, or at least Tony McGrath was convinced that they were onto you, and you were aiming, I think, to try to keep a low profile by going out into the countryside where you stumbled on a wedding, I don't think that you successfully kept your heads down, if I'm honest. It was all a bit hairy for that. Did the team neutralize a significant member of the conspiracy or a beast? I think you did manage to neutralize, at least temporarily, Mr. Bentley. He may not be back this time, but he might be back next time. So for each yes, we will reduce heat by 1. So I will turn heat down.
Didn't we already? I think we already did.
Did we do this?
Didn't we?
We did do this, yeah, because
Yeah, we
that
did.
is what caused the discussion about about having an objective beforehand.
Yeah, we dropped 1 heat last time.
You did. I'm sorry. My apologies.
But you did say that we could all drop our stress by 3. So I'll do that right now.
Sounds good to me.
What I don't think I did was to give you a chance to do anything about that stress, your kind of downtime,
Right.
inverted commas.
That's right. Yeah.
Fine. So did I reduce everyone's stress by 1? Oh no, you didn't, because you didn't see the objective. Okay, so it is now then about how you spend your downtime. I will remind you that you can spend intel to reduce stress, or you can engage with secret relief from the horror to reduce your stress. So let me go back round left to right and start with Jocko. Jocko is currently on 4 stress. What do you want to do about that, Jocko?
Well, I'm thinking of using my intel to drop it too.
Okay, so cash in both the intel. Not going to spend an intel to try and track down your mother then?
I mean,
I'm just asking.
Oh God, you're a bad boy. All right, let me think here.
She can stay missing for a while.
You know, just to serve you right, I'm leaving. Jocko doesn't know what's going on with her, so he's down to 2 stress.
Okay, but just remind me, do you have any siblings?
Jocko, yeah. We'll say Jocko does. We'll say he has a sister, who we'll say she lives close to where Jocko is from. You know, some rural Vermont, and so she still lives out there and it's closer to the mother. We'll say.
Now, none of you, use your real names or your real contact details with one another. You know, you have secure identities to some extent. But you do all have, you know, contacts to the outside world, the people outside the team. And so I think, Jocko, when you get back to the safe house and you're just checking the messages on your family phone, or maybe the family WhatsApp group, there's a message from your sister saying, how she won't know you as Jocko. How does she know you?
Well, so it's funny. Jocko is actually a real person. And it turns out Jocko is a nickname, but his family came up with it.
Okay. So she
like,
does know you as Jocko.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and the message says,
And her name's Sally.
Sally. Okay. The message says, "Hey Jocko, have you heard from Mum? I haven't heard for a couple of days. I've rung her and I'm just getting the answer machine." We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Let's move along to Tony. Tony, you are currently sitting on 4 stress and 3 intel. Now, would you like to spend intel to reduce your stress, or would you like to seek relief from the horror?
Can you combine both?
You could do any combination of those things.
Then some strong whiskey and some intel.
Okay, so do you want to start with the whiskey?
Sure.
Okay, so if you get drunk, you reduce your stress by 1, and then roll any d6. Can everybody see the dice roller?
Yeah, forgot to join, but on the way. Okay, here now. So I rolled a d6, was it?
Any d6 you fancy.
Cool.
The one we see move is the one I will interpret. Okay,
I
so
got
that's
a 5.
On 4 plus, mark heat and agree with the GM if you make a scene that attracts unwelcome attention, let something slip to the wrong person, or carelessly wreck something important or meaningful. Say how this puts the next operation at risk. So where do you get drunk? Because it doesn't look like this was private.
No, it wasn't. Perhaps Tony.
Oh, I've just remembered your safe house is in the basement of a slightly sleazy bar in the East End, isn't it?
Exactly. Perhaps Tony makes his way up to the bar area and gets a little bit too friendly with the local people in the bar. That's a bit too much sip.
And we know that that they are of a criminal persuasion, many of them. And so as Tony weaves slightly unsteadily out the bar to go to the, because I think we decided that this basement also has an entry via the sewers or whatever. So to make use of the secret entrance to the Batcave, Tony weaves away and we see 2 blokes saying, "Did he say demons?" And phone calls will be made. So heat's gone up by 1. But that did reduce stress by 1. So you know, what's not to like?
No, we're in pursuit.
Well, so do you want to reduce that stress any further?
Yeah, we will.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy for you to seek relief from the horror as many different ways as you like.
It's funny. We'll throw another intel at this to get a stress down to 2.
Okay. Then moving on to Kate. Kate, you are sitting on 5 stress. That was a hairy session in the church.
Yeah,
and
Kate
2
had a
intel.
bad time.
What are you thinking?
I'm going to spend an intel to reduce by 1, and then I'm going to do the same thing Tony did, and I'm going to go upstairs and have a drink or 2.
Oh, so it turns out it's a bit of a party.
Bit of a party.
Yeah, okay. So Kate, you reduce your stress by 1 and roll a d6 to see what the consequence is.
All right, let's roll that stress die. 6.
Oh, 6. 4 plus, mark heat. So it was this a conversation with Tony that just got slightly out of hand that spilled some goods, or was there some other way in which we can explain that heat having gone up?
Yeah, let's go with that. Tony and I were just in the bar like, demons, right?
Yeah, did you see those imps? Yeah, okay. So yeah, we are filling up the heat track like there is no tomorrow. And you've got one intel, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold on to the last one for the moment. It's tempting to save my husband, but I think it's more interesting if he's
In peril.
in peril.
And I don't know if I said it, but on a 6 with Seek Relief, it was really worth it. You reduced stress by an extra 1. Have you done that?
Yep.
Great.
So I went from 5 down to 2, which is
Oh,
great.
wow. That's pretty cool. Okay, we move on to Vera. Vera, you are also walking the bloody edge of stress. You are on 5 stress. And oh my God, you have no intel. So Vera, do you
Yeah,
want
I
to seek
spent that
relief?
to get a holy weapon last session.
You did.
So, yep. I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Well, look, let me help.
I couldn't find the dice roller.
Oh,
Where's
hang on.
the link to the dice roller?
I'll just give you that.
I'm just not. I was looking through the spreadsheet for that. So
okay. You should find it in the Zoom chat now.
Yep, that works.
For reference, everyone, it's in the Lines and Veils tab.
Okay, I thought it.
Don't worry about it. It's there. Go. You're fine.
All right. Yep. Okay.
Now,
all right.
let me help you out here. Okay, so the low impact for you way of seeking relief is to say something new about your relationship with your anchor, which puts them in the
I'm gonna
crosshaires.
when I pull that move, I'm gonna save it for in the action. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that, right? I'm not gonna do that in the interstitial time.
The other one that you could try is to remind another operator that you care most or least about of a fresh piece of your history together. That could end up with your anchor in trouble, but otherwise the other ones are pretty much all going to have a consequence of one kind or another.
Right. Well, I will probably I don't know. It's probably worth at least reminding Jocko before he heads out that he owes me one.
Jocko, do you remember owing? Because Vera's going to tell you in a moment why you owe. So are we placing?
Well, he was flat on the ground when I picked him up in the
was.
church. So his whole heroic charge on Mr. Bentley was only possible because I backed him up.
So Vera, you know, that sounds like you're going to put Jocko into one of those slots on the character sheet that says which member.
He's already my least.
Least. Okay. Well, I'm not.
I haven't picked him most yet because I really haven't interacted with anyone but Jocko.
Fine. So put Jocko in that square because I'm not seeing it on the sheet.
Oh, I thought he was. Okay.
Put him in there, and then let's then play with that option for seek relief. So your stress reduces by 1, and we roll a d6 to find out what's happening.
Okay. Well, let me roll the d6 first while I type that.
Mm-hmm. At
okay.
2, on a 1 to 3, they feel, so Jocko feels you're either milking the relationship or I think rubbing their nose in it. And you feel bad. You cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again. So you'll find this little drop-down box down there below the stress. Yeah. So mark your expertise as not available. But that was a pretty freebie reduction in stress. Which takes you all the way down to 4.
Oh wow!
So I'm
4.
just
only 4. Yeah.
So I'm curious, Vera, whether that's enough relief.
I'm probably going to do something else after, because I mean, as everyone sort of wanders to relieve stress in their own way. Let me see.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, there are no good options.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm trying to figure part of it's not good options. It's I haven't picked any of those options yet, and I'm trying to decide which one fits Vera best. it's probably going to be going out and getting a little bit tipsy or getting drunk.
Okay,
as
it's
it
a
were.
positive
So-
party upstairs, and then people kind of you leave.
but I'm not going to want to be. Yeah, it's you know what? Probably I'm going to end up in. I don't know. Does London have? I'm trying to think whether she would try to end up at a cop bar or not, if that makes sense, or the equivalent.
She can wander. I mean, I'm sure there's a pub opposite the Met Police that is full of blokes and ladies in uniform.
Right.
So let's put you there then, and you are going to get drunk. So reduce stress by 1 and roll a d6.
All right.
Oh, now you see what's nice about this is you can only lose your expertise once. So that loses you a stress for no problem at all. It's a joy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you want to keep this ball rolling?
No, I'm okay sitting at 3 stress.
Okay.
I feel like Vera is always a little bit high strung anyway. So.
Oh wow, she's in the wrong business. Okay, right. Oh, fine. Now, let us then move on to developing our briefing. Now, I think we've reached the point in this series where I don't need to offer you a choice of leads. I think you're in a position to tell me what are the loose ends, what do you want to find out? And we'll go from there. So if you check out Operation 3, there we go, Operation 3, you'll find the lead is, what are your loose ends? What do you want to find out? So let me go along the keeper again. I'll go in reverse. Vera, what do you want to find out after last time, if anything?
Well, I want to follow up that the magical, the blessed weapons sort of thing. I think we need an arsenal that can actually take down demons.
Okay.
And I mean, and I think I should have a leg up on that from the Saint Bridget intel spend last session.
Fine. So one suggestion is to go in search of a holy weapon. Okay. Let's move along to Kate. Kate, what loose ends are you identifying? What do you want to find out?
I don't know that I'd call it a loose end, but Kate would like to know what the significance is of the imp wedding that we interrupted. Like what that actually means, how big a deal it is that we, stopped it, that kind of stuff.
Fine. Yeah, because there has to be some fallout from stopping 2 imps getting married. We move along. Tony. Tony, what are you interested in following up on this session?
Tony is all aboard the holy weapon train.
That's what I thought from what you said earlier. And finally, Jocko, which loose end or which question do you want to try to get towards an answer on?
Well, he's kind of pissed that Bentley got away from him.
Okay.
And he's pissed that this team has fallen apart. He's like, good Lord, I can hear you guys upstairs talking about demons. He's like, Kate, you're better than this, Kate.
So there's a kind of NCO talking to waiting for you when you get back into the basement.
Yes, exactly.
Do you know, I heard them talking about demons after you lot left.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, the only other loose end I'd add to that is there was that politician whose name escapes me, Michael Smythe Jones. So that's the only loose end I'd add to that mix. So
and I assumed he was pretty involved because it was the Smythe and Jones wedding.
indeed it was. So the suggestion is there was a connection. No one really paid any attention to him once you got in the church. So we have no idea whether he was on the bride group. We have no idea where he was in that setup. So I guess there's two options here. One of them is let's track down a weapon that might kill a demon, or let's try to work out what's going on. Yeah. And at the moment, because I think that until you've got a weapon, taking Bentley down might be a challenge. So at the minute, we've got 3 people interested in a weapon and 1 person wanting to know what the bigger picture.
I'm happy to go along with the weapon.
Fine. And then hopefully in our last session, there'll be some kind of denouement that will explain what's going on. Fair? Okay. So, right. So given that Kate is deferring her view, let me ask you first then, Kate, who or what do you want to be the focus of this operation? I am going to use the drop down for this for the initial kind of look at this. Who or what will fit into getting a holy weapon?
I mean, I feel like I gotta go with the antique item.
I didn't want to point you too.
I mean, how can you not?
At it, but you know, it would seem it's unlikely to be an Abrams tank, and therefore an antique item seems appropriate. Okay, moving along to Tony. Tony, oh no, I think I asked you this last time, so I'm gonna skip to Jocko. Jocko, where do you want the focus of this operation to be? And you've got a load of options over there on the right.
Oh, one of these. Okay, how about I want let's make this, I hope this doesn't sound too cheesy, in the least cheesy way. I want this to be, I need to pick one of these, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
if you can come up with something else, that's fine. They're meant to be food for thought rather than limitation.
Well, how about some well, I'm thinking is some old Celtic holy place that then the Christians, you know, kind of made into their holy place. And so the idea that this is something very old that humanity has been using to fight the demons since like prehistory.
Okay, now there's one in that block called Monument/Ruin.
Yeah, I like
okay.
that.
So we're going to be located around a monument or ruin.
Maybe we can go to the lizard.
So let me ask Vera, what is the most likely, though probably not the only, demonic conspiracy threat? And there's a drop down there, and this is a way of setting the kind of level of threat, if you like.
My read is probably conspiracy occultists.
Never a bad choice in my view.
Just because, I mean, I'm kind of imagining this is going to be, again, going to a fairly rural area. You're not likely to have, I mean, well, I guess that depends. If the alternative option, I would say, is paramilitary. If we're going to one of the, like, the national parks that is also used for military training in England, well, in the UK.
I'll go any which way.
So I'm you know what? We dealt with a lot of occultists last time. Let's say that our lead is going to be a spot that's in one of the national parks, as it were.
Fine.
I'm not entirely sure what they're called.
No, don't worry about it. No, there's plenty of army ranges around the country. Not a problem.
I mean, When I was in Brecon Beacons, I got buzzed by a fighter jet, and I saw troops out on training maneuvers. So,
Yeah,
so
the
it's like,
Beacons is notorious for it,
right.
and solid Celtic heartland as well.
It is. It is.
Okay, so then if I now go round to Tony and say, if you look at the set of options below that, what do they seem to be doing or planning? What are these paramilitary pawns doing or planning to do?
I think they're running a black site.
Well, give me an option off that list.
Oh, is that not?
And then you can flesh it out any which way you like. Because I suppose the black site would have been, if we'd chosen as where this is going to go on, if it was some kind of military facility.
I understand.
Yeah. So which of those 6 options appeals to you as a starting point? How it's fleshed out will depend on you lot.
Perhaps then they're selling illegal weapons.
Go for it. It's tough in the army these days. You just can't get by on the salaries. We've got, yes, okay. So let me just type at the top there. Find a weapon, and does that mean that because I keep forgetting to do this early on, so I'm going to put in operational objective. Find a holy weapon, and we can flesh that out as necessary. Okay, so the question now is, can we flesh out the details in your investigative scenes? So let me start, let me go round to, where did I start last time? I started with Kate, didn't I? So let me stick with Kate as a starting point. Kate, which of those bits do you want to add detail to, and how would you frame a scene to do that?
Yeah, I think I'll add detail to the antique weapons, which will be a scene of Kate, at the library just poring over old academic and religious texts.
Now I'll remind you that this will be a role to investigate, and as I look at Kate's background and expertise, I'm not seeing that that's something she's particularly good at. Just so I don't want you to find yourself in a position.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
I do.
I mean, my view with people like Kate is, why do your own research when you could simply seduce someone who's done it?
Yeah, fair enough. Let's instead find Oxford professor and instead get them to tell me what they know.
Okay, so a rather kind of overweight, large glasses, thinning hair chap called Nigel Peters.
Of course, his name's
Professor Nigel Peters, and he is an expert, as much as you could be an expert, on things that people said could kill demons. Yeah. And he's visiting the British Museum. He's giving a lecture. And so I think that we open with you sitting in on that lecture as he runs through a load of kind of historical detail, referencing assorted carvings from the British Museum collection, various ancient tomes from the British Library, and so on. So take it from there, Kate.
Yeah, so Kate will approach him at the conclusion of his talk. She'll introduce herself as a student and try and get some more information about sort of, if any of those things still exist, and where they could potentially be.
Oh well, I mean, of course, uh, none of us believe any of this is real, but someone did once believe that all of the things I've been talking about were real. Um, I just want to drop this in case mechanically. This might be an opportunity, if you were looking to go in the direction, Kate, for an opportunity to seek relief from the horror through meaningless sex, or some other one of the seek reliefs. I just put that on the table, because Nigel doesn't get approached by attractive students very often.
Sure. No, I'm married. I don't want to sleep with Nigel.
Fine. And so why don't you join me for a drink?
Okay, that I can do. Sure, I'll have a drink with you.
And he and a Dr. Peveril, who was the person who invited him to come to give the lecture, are going to adjourn to a pub across the road, where he loves to kind of show off. And so Nigel just, is once you set him going, you can't shut him up. The question is, can you keep him focused on some of the practicalities you're interested in? So I think that kind of persuasion expertise that you have gives you expertise. Do you want to include your stress dice?
Well, I guess that depends. Is this also going to be a seek relief from the horror?
If you want to turn out to be drunk, yeah, sure. If you don't want to have sex with a guy, maybe you just want to get pissed with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that it would be pretty funny to get drunk and just start spouting that all of this is totally real.
Yeah, if you've been at the wedding I'd been at, Nigel. Okay, so yeah, by all means, include your stress dice, and then we'll move on to seek relief from the horror.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because you want to be kind of sober when you milk him.
Right. So I got a 6, and stress did not go up.
Will you look at that? So on a 6, this goes brilliantly for Kate. So you are going to get the minimum that you need. So tell me, what is the kind of weapon that he describes as the most likely candidate? What do you want this weapon to look like?
An ancient weapon, huh? I'm torn between it being like a broadsword and a crossbow, and I think I'm leaning towards broadsword.
I
mostly because I want to see Jocko just cut someone down
with a really big sword. Okay, so an ancient broadsword. Well, you get that for nothing. Now you have 2 questions that you can ask me about this, or 2 details that you can add to the briefing. Take your pick.
Yeah, sorry, refresh me a bit on how these operation things work. So this would be questions specifically about this item.
As long as you can connect it to that, as long as narratively the conversation is still about ancient anti-demon weapons, you can add any detail you like. I mean, all right, we can agree a detail you can add.
Loop back to me while I think about it for a second.
Fine. Well, you have 2 questions, and because it's a 6, you are going to find something scary. So it's going to be a seek relief. It's going to be a roll for stress, and then we'll worry about whether you get pissed with him. Cool. Let's move along to Tony. Tony, we know that there is an ancient broadsword.
Right.
Before I forget it. I can't spell broadsword, but it's a thought that counts. Tony, what do you want to know about? And looking at your expertise, how are you going to find it out?
Sure. Well, one thing Tony might do is to look into the monument and ruin more at libraries and the likes. I was just wondering though, is there any way for technical to come into this? Like, can I prepare things for people beforehand? Like, is
The way we'd run that is that until you declare a piece of gear,
Mhm.
it's just like any other piece of gear.
Okay.
But if you want to have MacGyvered something together in advance, then we flash back to you doing it, and then when they use it, we find out how effective the construction or the design was. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
Yeah, if Tony's up for going with that, then if that suits.
So, but that you don't need to use that
Oh, I
as your
understand.
investigative, right?
Great.
You
Yeah,
know, you can
perfect.
just decide to do that in the op.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Tony's going to investigate this Celtic kind of rune at the library
Fine,
or libraries.
Fine. Yeah, so I think that's research. So it's with expertise. Add the stress dice if you want to.
Okay, we will go no stress for now. 4.
Pair of 4s. So on a 4, I will tell you that it is indeed there is a place that has ancient. You know, it's associated with witches in the 17th century. It's associated with hippies in the 20th century. And you know, kind of pseudo druids who go there to greet the arrival of the, you know, some solstice or other. But going further back, it's also the site. It also crops up on a list of ancient Celtic sites, and it's in the Brecon Beacons.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you for free and for nothing the idea that this is in the Brecon Beacons, because at least 2 of us have been there. So it's in the Brecon Beacons. These are the mountains at the southern end of, at the northern end of South Wales. Anyway, look it up. But now you have a question you can ask me or a detail you can add about it. This could be about its location, its layout, its nature, anything you want.
Yeah. Okay, so since we're dealing with people who we think are selling illegal weapons, would there be somewhere that they could well hide there if they in some secret base or something of the likes?
Could it be in a cave?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's in the Brecon Beacons and it's a cave location, which would
Perfect.
be a great place to store missing British Army weapons for sale to who knows who. Okay.
Great. Thanks.
Let's move to Jocko. Jocko, what do you want to add more detail to about this? And looking at your expertise, how are you going to frame a scene to do it?
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is Jocko, he'll know something, like he'll recognize, you know, maybe he's checking out the Brecon Beacons and he sees a footprint of the, you know, British military issued boots, you know, and then he follows some, you know, Jeep tracks. And so let's see, how about he finds well, how about what it is these okay, these military guys have been put here to, unbeknownst to them, basically guard this broadsword.
Okay.
And they're running drugs on the side.
Before
Yeah.
you add any detail,
Okay.
So what I'm seeing then is Jocko in full camo, you know, edging up to a ravine in the middle of the Brecon Beacons, where he stakes out and sees who comes and goes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have you roll to investigate with expertise, because your fieldcraft will apply to that perfectly well. You can add the stress dice if you'd like to.
Sure, let's do it. So 3 dice.
I only saw 2 of them move. I don't
Yeah,
think the orange
yeah.
one moved. So it's a 2 and a 3
Okay.
so far.
Oh,
And a
and
4.
it did move 4. Yeah.
Okay. So the basic information I think is what you've just said. There is a regular coming and going of clearly military personnel. They're off duty, but there's clear comings and goings to this ravine and the cave in it. Yeah. So this cave, I'm now going to add in a ravine. And down below, I'm going to say regular military comings and goings. Yeah, you get that one for free.
All
Now
right.
you on a 4, you can either add a detail or you can ask me a question that I will answer honestly.
Okay. I'm gonna add a detail. These military guys have a patch on them that matches a symbol we saw in the wedding.
Oh, how very interesting. So they are connected to one of the wedding cults. Yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I like that. So they are connected to one of the wedding cults. And quite what they're doing, I think I will tell you for nothing because we kind of got this from the original choice, is that they are delivering, you can see them, they turn up occasionally with crates of weapons and ammo and stuff. So this cave is likely to have quite a lot of military equipment in it. Yeah. So let me add that to the cave. Has quite a lot of military equipment. Okay, fine. Let's come round to Vera. Vera, where do you want to add some detail? And working off your expertise, how are you going to get it?
Right. Well, I can't use my expertise right now.
Oh,
but,
that's true. Well, go mad then. Do whatever you like.
Yeah, exactly. It relieves me from that limitation. I was actually thinking that one of the problems about getting the team to and from some maneuver here or the operation is going to be a transportation question. And so I either want to I guess I'm trying to figure out, as far as gear picks or whatnot, would I need to do an investigator or establish something in order to say have a helicopter available, or is that something?
The joy of the driver is that the driver can define any vehicle's availability.
Okay.
One per operation.
One per. Right.
So if you want a helicopter, you've got a helicopter. You don't have to do anything. You just have access. You know a man who knows a man.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure. Yes. So what I'm going to do is then what I'm going to do is talk to one of the conservationists in the Brecon Beacons, because I'm sure that there's a bit of tension between them and the military.
Oh, good plan.
And I'm going to try to get a sense for where it's basically where we can essentially get a map find places that we can probably refuge safely if we get in trouble, or places I can put down the helicopter. Just like basic. I mean, I'm not hoping to reveal those details, but still,
No, that's fine. And I'm feeling that you are revealing your authority as a member of the Federal Forest Service.
You know what? I'm probably not. I'm probably just small talking.
Okay.
Because I mean, I can't use my expertise anyway. So fine. I figure this is actually probably more. I would actually argue this is probably more persuasion, as it were.
If anything. No, fair enough.
If anything. Yeah, I mean, it's shop talk, right?
Yeah.
In a way. I'm just trying to lead it to something useful.
So somewhere, Abergavenny or somewhere on the edge of the beacons in a
Mhm.
pub with a national park ranger, and having a conversation about what do you make of all this, these military ranges and stuff. So yeah, by all means. So you're only rolling the middle dice
Right.
die unless you include the stress dice.
I will include a stress die because I would like to make sure that we can do something safely.
And you
So
want your expertise back.
that is apt as well. So let's see if this helps.
Well, congratulations. The 2 on the stress dice means that you increase the stress by 1, but that means
Right.
your expertise is back in line. But on a 1 or 2 with investigate, you get the bare minimum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that on your map, you have identified one place where you could put a helicopter down. Whether it's there and you retreat to it, or whether you want to, whatever. There is one place where you could reasonably hide a helicopter in the vicinity. Okay.
Okay. And to be clear, I had to spend a stress to roll the stress die too, right?
No. The stress,
Oh,
the stress die will tell you if you're stressed. It costs you nothing to use it.
okay. Okay.
I mean,
That's good. Okay. I think I did that wrong last session.
It did seem to shoot up a bit, but I lost track in the action. So
Okay. That explains that.
What I'm going to write into the briefing is that Vera knows where to hide a helicopter. Yeah.
Yep,
Whether that's
sounds
on
like a plan.
arrival or for departure, who knows? I like
Yes.
the idea of the British Army tracking an unknown helicopter flying low over military exercises and, assorted anti-aircraft missiles, tracking, but we'll come to that at some point.
Yep.
So let me go back round to Kate, because Kate still has lots to tell us, conceivably. So, Kate, you got Ancient Broadsword for nothing. You have 2 details to add or 2 questions to ask, and go ahead.
Yeah, I guess my first question will be like what does it have for like identifying marks that will know that this is the broadsword?
Well, the legend said that this broadsword belonged to King Arthur. This is one of the candidates for Excalibur. And that, contrary to all that Cornish rubbish, it's actually buried in the middle of Wales. So the chances are that there will be some iconography related to Arthur. So I'm going to add something that says Arthurian iconography. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, Kate. If you're in that cave and you find an ancient broadsword, it's probably not going to be a question of which one do I choose.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So there's Arthurian iconography. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me or ask me? Because you have a second question.
I know. I don't really know where to go with it though.
Well, we can always throw it open.
Yeah. Does anyone have any ideas of things that they want to know or declare about the sword?
Remember, it needn't be about the sword as long as it's connected to the sword and could have come out of the conversation with Nigel Peters.
Well,
If not, I'll throw something in.
Oh, I have something. Could there be some sort of cryptic inscription or something about this that seems to imply a guardian or how the sword is protected? Like it's just there and you can just pick it up, but like there's some sort of thing of like many men, I don't know, something.
Yeah, yeah.
You got it. Okay,
Implication
cool.
of a guardian. Yeah,
Okay.
and I think that probably, Kate, because you rolled a 6, that is the bit that makes you think, shit, a guardian for Excalibur, roll for stress.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, let's roll that stress die. I got a 3.
Which is sadly is more than currently, so stress goes up by 1.
Oh, boy.
So that then is our operation.
Can I still maybe get drunk with?
Oh, of course you can get drunk
Yeah.
with Nigel. Go
Let's see
ahead,
if-
get pissed with Nigel.
Let's see if we can knock that stress back down.
And Dr. Peveril.
All right, rolling the stress die again.
Okay,
so it came up as a 3.
You're a nasty drunk, and Nigel is rather offended, and you're ashamed of yourself. You cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again.
Alas.
The last question I have in terms of our briefing stage is if you have intel, then you could spend it to define an obstacle that you would look cool overcoming. Now, not all of you have intel, but if I simply ask a straight question of Tony, do you want to define an obstacle, or are you content for me to go with my random choice later on?
When you say define, is it just like picking one of the
if you have a look at the operation tab, it says,
yeah.
What do you want to be seen doing that would be cool? Describe an obstacle or complication that would frame that.
Okay, I see.
Does it have to be does it have to be us specifically, or can it be?
My assumption is that if you're going to spend one of your intel, it will because you want to steal that spotlight.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, for instance, could it be that there is some technical obstacle that needs to be overcome?
Yep.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think Tony would like to MacGyver something. He whether it's a quiet MacGyver thing or like a loud mortar style MacGyver thing.
We'll find out. So if we said then, so Tony wants to be seen MacGyvering. I can't spell MacGyvering.
Yeah, we get the point. It's a tough one to spell.
MacGyvering past some technical obstacle. Yeah?
Cool. Sounds great.
And that means that I will only create 3 additional complications for the op rather than the 4 that I'd have on the table. That said, because we are currently operating at alarmed, I get another obstacle if I want it, if alarmed at GM discretion. Okay, it is a minute to the hour. I'm going to suggest that we take a break now. I'd quite like to make a cup of tea, so can we make it a 10-minute break and then back at 10 past the hour? Fine. Again. Okay, we're back from our break, and we know where we're going. We're going to the Brecon Beacons. I'm not Vera. I suppose I ought to ask you whether you want to arrive by helicopter, or whether you simply want to have it stashed there, or whether you want to leave that open at this point.
I was gonna make that an option for the team. I have acquired a helicopter. I can make sure the helicopter is in position if we want to use it purely for exfiltration, or I can or we can do a helicopter assault, or not a, what I mean? It's a civilian helicopter, but still, like, if you want me to bring you guys in via helicopter.
Well, so that's a means. Let me ask Jocko. Jocko, you are our most well, you're the only truly military. You've been observing the comings and goings, so you've got a fair idea of the routine, yeah? And I guess that the simple question to ask you is, do you want to arrive on site when some of these guys are on site, or do you want to arrive on site when they're not on site?
Yeah, we'll say, well, Jocko wants to take the helicopter in. I don't know what the team wants, but that's what Jocko wants. And yeah, I think he finds a time when they're not on site, right?
Okay.
We get there, yeah.
Okay, so Kate and Tony, I'll ask you in a moment what you do when the helicopter swoops over the ravine and Jocko begins to rappel down into the ravine. But let me just, before I do that, I do need to just check in on the load and gear position. Okay, you start again with no equipment chosen, but I do need to know whether you are light or medium loaded. It looks like we're going with medium for Jocko and light for everybody else. Does anybody else want to increase to medium?
Yeah, I'll definitely move up. I think we're going big and loud here.
Because you might well need your kind of technical toolkit, which is in the list somewhere. And I'll also remind you that you always have a handgun. You know, Jason Bourne never has to look around for a handgun. There's always one on hand. So you all have access to a handgun. And because of the choice about the safe house, you all have automatic weapons. So anything that has auto in it is also available. If you want any other kind of equipment, you will have to call on a contact to get it. Yeah, which might be, Tony, why you end up MacGyvering rather than having stuff all ready to go. Quick scan across. Tony's gone medium. Oh, sorry.
I've gone medium because I'm in the helicopter. So
fair enough. I mean, once you get off the helicopter, you circle the site.
Well, that's the question. Is there a place to land a helicopter near the site?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. You found a place where you can put it down without too much trouble. So the other question, Jocko, because again, you're in charge of the tactical bit here, is dawn, dusk, daylight, deep hours of the night.
Jocko is an early riser. He believes in getting there early. So we get there, 4 a.m. before they start their maneuvers.
Okay, so in early, it's pre-dawn. So Vera, describe what we see then as the camera shows us the Black Mountains and the moorland and woodland of the Brecon Beacons. What do we first see of the team?
All right, so you know what? I'm going to say that it's probably not. It's not a pitch black night. It's probably a moonlit night. So the beacons are the mountains are sort of in viewable in like an almost black and white relief with they're not heavily forested. It's much more heath like if I recall.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being these like this rolling hills on hills, and we see that sort of illuminated by the moon, and then this helicopter sort of comes riding over the ridge, holding tight to the ground, I'm flying it super carefully, but it's this is not a maneuver for the faint of piloting.
Indeed, because you're having to come in under all that military radar that is up there to help the RAF do training runs up the valleys of the beacons.
Right.
Slightly too rugged behind me, but it's the thought that counts. Okay, Jocko. So you're coming up to the ravine. Is the objective to be on the end of the rope as Vera kind of maneuvers up the ravine, so we see you, and then you just drop and roll?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. While you're doing that, I just then will ask Kate and Tony to think about their debarkation from the helicopter. But Jocko, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to roll fieldcraft here, aren't I?
I mean, it's an insult to him, but sure,
So with expertise, stress dice if you'd like it.
Yeah, we'll stress it up. Bam.
Oh, that's great. Now,
Yeah. Jocko says that's, that was a mere formality.
Yeah. It's not flashy. It's just really professional. He doesn't even have to roll. He lands and he just runs off the end of the rappel rope.
Awesome.
With his equipment. And what do you do when you hit the ground, Jocko? The cave is maybe 50 meters further up.
Yeah. I definitely we'll say he has some night vision goggles too. Just take a surveillance. You know, and yeah, he what do you call it? Well, he just gets to a safe position, right? Finds a place for them to regroup and then plan their attack.
Fine, I won't require you to roll for that. You're pretty confident they're not on site because you've watched them for a week, and yeah, you secrete yourself where you can provide cover were anyone to arrive. Yeah. So Tony, I'm curious. As you were flying to this location, in your mind is, do I rappel off the rope or do I wait for Vera to land this thing? So where's your decision, Tony?
Tony looks at Kate. Looks at Jocko. He shakes his
Jocko's
head.
already gone.
Yeah,
Jocko's
he looks at the fact that Jocko's gone, as in shakes his head, looks back at Kate, and stays in the helicopter.
Kate, what about you?
I also stay in the helicopter. wait for it to land and for Jocko to secure the ground.
Okay, so Vera puts it down kind of over that low ridge in another dip in the terrain where somebody literally would have to kind of stumble on it in order to find it. And the three of you then just, slog over the moorland to where Jocko is waiting. So all four of you are now in the ravine. The cave is 50 odd yards, 50 odd paces up to the narrow end of the ravine. What do we see you do? Let me go to Vera. What do we see Vera doing as you make your way towards the cave?
So I think at the moment I'm taking up the rear because I want to make sure that now that I've shut down the helicopter, I want to make sure that the noise of the helicopter hasn't attracted anyone who's going to attack us from behind.
Oh, I think that probably is a kind of a useful thing to do. So let's have you investigate. So you can ask me a question about that, whether anything has changed.
Right.
So I'm just looking. I'm not seeing a particular expertise. So this is without expertise. You can add the stress dice if you'd like to.
I think at the moment I'm not going to add the stress dice. So I'll just.
You're on 4 stress. I think that's probably sensible.
Right.
So just the middle dice.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you're concerned, it's surprisingly quiet. There isn't even much bird song.
Oh, great.
But that one means that, yes, somebody did notice your arrival. I am going to mark heat. That moves us from pursuit to attack. And I think Kate... Oh, no, I tell you what, it will be Tony. Tony, that's when your burner phone goes off. And there's an Irish voice on the other end, and the voice says, Tony, I don't know what you've done, but you've attracted some interest. The word on the street is that there's a contract out on you and some folks you're spending time with.
Oh dear.
That's just for old time's sake. You want anything else? Usual terms apply. Click. So somebody has put 2 and 2 together, and somebody is coming for you. Okay. Unless you can reduce that heat. What do we see of Kate as you are making your way towards this cave entrance, which is really just a kind of crack at the end of this narrowing ravine?
Yeah, so Kate is still light loaded. So she's going pretty quickly, especially in knowing that we only have a certain amount of time before people show up here anyway. She wants to get in and get out quickly. So she's got like a black jumpsuit and is just going, very quickly to the entrance of the cave.
And I think at this point we'll have a cutscene, and the cutscene is at an undisclosed location in Herefordshire, where at the SAS headquarters a telephone rings, and you see a officer picks it up, and a telephone conversation goes something like, "Yes, we've had a whisper that some terrorists are after some arms, and we've just had a check, and there seem to be some arms missing from the bunker at Abergavenny. Could you scramble a unit, please, just in case this is ISIS?" "Yes, sir, certainly, sir." And then he hits because this is a film, he hits a big red button, and you hear scramble, scramble squad A, scramble squad A, and very dangerous looking blokes can be seen strapping on tactical gear and heading out towards a helicopter. Let's get to the crack of doom. Jocko, you're at the front end making your way, and it is literally, it's a crack at the end of this ravine. There is a stream running out of it, so there's some kind of drainage out of it. What do we see you do?
Yeah, he syncs up with everybody, and he's like, "All right, I assume I'll run point on this. I'll run up there, get some intel on what the situation is, and you guys cover me."
So are you going to get that intel from the outside, or are you going to go in?
He's going in.
Okay, so let's have you roll to get in there without anybody noticing and see what you see. So I think this is rolling to investigate with intrusion or surveillance. It's your skill set, this, isn't it? Sneaking into places, finding out what you can see. So expertise is available. Yep. Stress die. Ooh, stress die if you want it. Certainly did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So best result is a 6. So you can ask me 2 questions. I'll give you the basic information.
Yep.
About 20 paces into this cave, you can see stacks of military equipment, in the sense of there are crates, those kind of olive green crates with stenciling on the side, that you will identify as a range of British military equipment. Everything from mortars down, rocket propelled grenades, heavy machine guns, the whole shebang. So somebody's been stealing stuff for some time. Mm-hmm. Okay, you get that for nothing. Do you want to ask me any questions about this?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The first question would be, does Jocko see anything, that would indicate that there's a threat, an immediate threat?
Okay. I think the obvious threat is that if someone were to ignite this, it would bring the roof down, right? And I think that's the bit that relates to the 6, which is going to make you roll for stress in a moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's so there is no 1 in here. But I think the other thing you will find is just a scribbled note, weighed down with a stone on top of this, that says something like, we'll come early for the handover.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it looks like normal routines are not applying. Mm-hmm. It looks like someone's coming, who isn't the SAS. Mm-hmm. So there's your 1 question. Do you want to ask me another question?
Yeah. So the other question would be, is there a fortifiable position in here?
Yeah, I mean, the further back you go, the narrower it gets, and it narrows down and down and down until there's really not much more than a crawl space back there. And so the further back you were, the more defensible it would be, to the point where people could only come at you one at a time.
All right.
Yeah. I suppose the other possible defensible position is to take cover behind these crates of weapons and ammunition.
The explosives. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent cover. So you're in comms. That's what comes back. What are you telling the others?
Yeah, all of this. Yeah.
Fine.
Describing it. How many crates are in here? I assume it's a whole bunch, more than we could load out.
You could probably, I mean, depending on what you wanted, you could probably between you carry 2 crates. You know, it would take a pair of you to carry each crate, I think, comfortably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can
And
worry
there's
about
more
that
than that. There's
on
more
the
than
way
that.
out.
There's probably like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, there's anything here that you want there to be here, really, that's reasonable, short of you know, an armored vehicle.
Right.
So, yeah. So as I say, it just runs down to this kind of really narrow crawl space at the back. So what's the plan? Because you know, there's no sword stuck in a large boulder.
Yeah. Jocko would say, yeah, it's safe. Everyone get in here. And he'll propose the idea of that we need to have a lookout because people might be coming. And we need to defend against them. And then it looks like tight quarters here. I hope no one's claustrophobic.
We may find that out shortly.
So Vera is going to continue guarding being the lookout, as it were.
Well, I mean, I did want to.
I her to get to the helicopter first.
I do just want to ask Tony whether this is the point at which we see you pull together a remote camera from assorted pieces of equipment.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Because that would mean that no one per se had to stay.
Yep.
Because maybe it even has a movement sensor on it, Tony, that would just, you know, ping your ear.
Oh yeah, definitely. Easy for Tony to get that going.
Okay.
And IR.
Yeah.
We'll see how well the roll goes.
Yeah.
But
Tony thinks it's easy.
So you select your technical toolkit that takes up 2 gear slots, and we see Tony kind of, you know, quickly pulling together pieces of equipment, and setting this up. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. So with expertise, yes.
Yeah. Stress die if you want it.
That's a 5.
So you know, we see you. Well, you tell me. It's an uncomplicated success. So what do we end up with, and where do you put it?
Yeah, we end up with a remote camera that we can look through if needed, but it does also ping us, as said, if it detects movement coming in. And yeah, you see Tony either back in time or right on the spot, just with his toolkit that he whips out, and he's like, "Hang on, give me a sec," and he pushes it together, and we prop it up on the entrance to the small entrance to the cave.
So it's hidden. So yeah, just to be clear, is it at the kind of main entrance? So if somebody enters the cave, it'll go off, or is it at the narrow entrance you're about to crawl through?
No, at the main entrance.
Fine. Okay.
Was my intention.
So the way this works is I tick off MacGyvering past some technical obstacle. So you know, you have successfully overcome one obstacle. The rest are mine. And then crawling through this space. Jocko, first.
Yeah. Does Jocko need to roll stress?
Oh, he does. He does. Well remembered. Thank you.
3. So
which is higher than the 2, so up it goes.
So wait, is Vera staying at the helicopter?
I'm hoping not.
No.
Now you've got remote.
Tony put up a surveillance rig. I'll be coming along. I'll be going into the deep of the cave too.
Let me just also remind Vera that part of the driver expertise is also about drones. For what it's worth, it's okay. Direct or indirect control of stuff.
I did not realize that. Okay,
should have mentioned it. So Jocko, again, I'm assuming goes first. Vera, I'm assuming goes last. Kate and Tony hang back until one of them follows Jocko.
Kate will follow immediately after, assuming that Tony is still getting the camera set up.
Okay. I think that I may play a complication here. I think I will play, which one did I think would make sense? Choices. Once you get into this bit of the cave, this is a labyrinth. It's going to cause time or confusion during exfiltration. So as you make your way through, it is complicated. It goes up, down, left, right, it branches. Jocko, occasionally when it branches, you don't have much choice about which direction to go. A couple of times you just have to go with your gut. Or is there something that's guiding you through this, Jocko?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is Jocko really respected his dad a whole lot, right? His dad just was a farmer, nothing flashy, but in a lot of ways, Jocko's like, me kicking ass in the seals was me being a second rate of my father. Like he could have totally done this. And so at times like this, when he's not sure, he thinks, what would dad do? And I'll say at the same time, that also he starts to think about mom. Like, oh, so.
Fine. That's great. I like that. Yeah, what would dad have done? Gee whiz. And so you're making your way through this complex. It's almost potholing on certain occasions. It's not a problem for Jocko, but occasionally Jocko has to stop in a space and help Kate down, Tony down. Vera can handle herself. I think she's much more the outdoors woman than the others.
We'll say one thing Jocko is doing is, and not that this could easily be thwarted, but he's like doing a chalk line. And yeah. So he's just doing like one of those to mark his way.
Okay. Let me go to Tony. Tony, as you're following Jocko through this, I'm assuming on this occasion that you may be wearing something like shooting tweeds rather than your usual getup.
Indeed, yeah.
The Edwardian gentleman mountaineer is what comes to mind. And so you're making your way in your shooting gear, and you're the only person so far who has evinced any kind of sense of faith, to be honest. And I'm curious, what makes you feel that this place is important as a place of faith? Is it something you see or something you feel?
I think it's a feeling here. I suppose it's something I've seen. Something about the place just, Tony doesn't quite know how to describe it, but there's something that when he walks in here, it feels nice to some sense, like something's calming here, despite all the crazy stuff that's going on. There's something calming for him here.
Okay. And Kate, you're I get the feeling with Kate that she's pretty well grounded in the secular world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is worrying Kate most at this point?
I think Kate's probably most worried that getting around in here is confusing. She's worried about like how long it's going to take them to get out, and the fact that it seems like there's only one exit, and that the soldiers who are coming might know the layout a lot better than we do, and that we will just be outnumbered and trapped and slaughtered.
It's a reasonable thing to be worried about. And Vera, the others are passing in front of you, so you're only looking at kind of disturbed ground, I suppose. But what gives you the feeling that this is not a place people go or haven't been in a long time?
Well, I think that it's because we're back in this cave. I think there are some very clear, like extremely fragile formations that I'm seeing like shattered by the three folks ahead of me. That it just like clearly, you know, I mean, they're not huge, so they probably were over the course of 100 or a few hundred years, but still, I mean, it does not seem likely anyone has been down to this cave, you know, certainly in living memory.
I think that's fine. Yes, that's fine. Jocko, how are you? You've got your night vision goggles on, I guess, trying to get some sense of what's going on down here.
Yep.
Tony, how are you? Are you just groping along after Jocko, or have you got some source of light of your own?
At the moment, Tony is blindly placing his faith in here and Jocko. So
Fine, fine. Kate, let me ask you the same question.
I assumed I had a flashlight.
Fine. You'll find a flashlight or a head torch somewhere in the gear list. Just mark it and take the gear.
Can Jocko say that he doesn't let anyone come on without a headlamp?
I mean, you can always say that, but I mean, I think you know these folks well enough to know that they only take a certain amount of instruction.
Yeah. Okay.
Vera, what about you? Are you do you have a light source of your own, or are you relying now on?
I definitely
Kate's?
need a light source of my own.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So select that off the gear list.
I already have. Yep.
Great. And so, Jocko, after you've been going for about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes through this, time gets odd down here.
Yeah.
You know, Kate is feeling this is like days. You know, and more days to get back, more to the point. So Jocko, it's with some relief, I think, that you will feel, you know, that it's opening out ahead of you. And it's getting slightly wider, and there's also some illumination. What do you do?
Guys, I'm feeling like Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade in here. All right, are we going to see an old Knights Templar? And so yeah, he sees the light. He's like, "Hey guys, I see something ahead." And I think he's like, "Hey everyone, turn off your lights. Somebody might be down there." And so he'll creep ahead to investigate.
What is it about this light that makes it feel unnatural, Jocko?
Yeah. Well, let's see. What would I'm just trying to think what would be unnatural about light?
Color.
How about this? How about I don't know in reality, but like infrared goggles. Let's say the light is screwing with the infrared goggles.
Oh, right.
Like, you know, he's like, okay, wait a second. Something's going on here. The goggles aren't working. This isn't usually how it operates.
Right. So normally you'd be relying on some kind of extremely low light pickup. You know, maybe it's bouncing some kind of, you know, infrared light off stuff so you can see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like this is also giving off low level flickering heat as well as light.
Yeah.
And Tony, you'll see that as well over his shoulder as Jocko kind of just tells Kate, put the torch out, and just disappears into the darkness. I think at this point, starting with Tony and working our way back down, I think I need a roll for stress, please, because I think this is a little odd. So let's start with Tony.
Yeah. And that is a 2, and my stress is 2.
He is ice cold. Kate.
He doesn't even have to turn off his light. He doesn't have one.
He's so cold, he doesn't even need light. He's like, you know. Yeah.
Kate's goes up.
Okay. And finally, Vera. Oh my, yes, that's certainly. I mean, God, you're on 4 already. You are rolling so unluckily with your stress, Vera. But yeah, stress goes up to 5.
Well, that's the first time I've rolled above a 2 this session.
Oh,
So
life's a bitch, isn't it?
Oh,
so do you your
Jocko.
stress? Now hang on.
Jocko.
So Vera,
Sorry, yep, go ahead.
Vera, your stress has gone up to 5. I do want to remind you how close to the edge you are and ask you whether you want to seek relief from the horror right now, and if so, how.
I think I will still hold off on doing that until until the next time until I'm about to roll, if that makes sense.
Okay. She's steely. The Federal Forest Service breeds them steely. Jocko, you've gone off into the darkness, and you're used to operating in odd, tense situations, but this is weird, not just tense. So would you roll for stress, please?
All right. Rolled a 1.
But that SEAL Team 6 training just locks into place.
Yeah.
As you kind of approach, because it's almost like there's a corner and the illumination's coming around the corner. As you approach the corner, I will tell you for nothing that it appears to be illuminated with some kind of fungus or growth on the walls of the cave. If you want to know any more than that, you'll have to roll to investigate.
Yeah, let's do that.
Surveillance, I think, would apply.
All right, a 4.
So you can ask me a question.
Yeah. Is this fungus dangerous?
I don't know how you could tell that by looking at it.
Okay.
So I don't think I can answer that question.
Okay.
It's odd. It's bloody odd.
So there's fungus. Does there look to be a cause of the fungus? Is something different here that might.
Okay, I will tell you that it appears to be. There is a center where there is a lot of this fungus giving off a lot of this illumination or radiation. And as it comes towards you, it spreads out into kind of spidery fingers towards you. So it gives every appearance of there being a bright center and then a kind of corona coming away from it. But it seems to be growing on something.
Okay. Yeah, Jocko is like, our mushrooms don't grow like that in Vermont.
I don't know whether Vera wants to step in. The Forestry Service knows a lot about mushrooms.
Yeah.
He goes close enough to see anything though.
He's like, Vera, get up here. You're our mushroom expert, right?
I'm prepared to go with that. I mean, Vera, do you want to close up on Jocko, or do you want to stay as the tail end?
No, I'll come up and take a look. Yeah.
And it is as he describes. And I'll tell you for nothing, this is like no natural fungus you have ever seen, Vera. You've seen stuff that that there's stuff in the deep sea, that there's stuff that has a kind of fluorescence. But what's odd about this is that it's flickering.
Right, which is not normal for phosphorescence.
No.
Or bioluminescence.
No.
Yeah.
No. Kate, Tony, do you close up as well?
Yeah, move ahead, slowly and cautiously.
You'll probably have to put that torch back on just to, get a bit closer and make sure you don't kind of hurt yourself. And so Vera and Jocko, we got Tony and Kate slightly behind, kind of just looking into this, and it looks like, as you look into it, it gives every appearance of being kind of like a star-like, bright-centered, but then these kind of fingers of this stuff reaching out towards you. Not at all odd. Jocko, Vera, which one of you moves, acts, does something?
Yeah, yeah, Vera. What are we looking at there?
So, is there a substrate? Is there anything this fungus is growing from, or is it just growing from the rock?
It looks like it's coating the rock, but it does start there is more of it around
Right.
this kind of center area. Now, whether that's all a mound of fungus or whether it's
Right.
fungus coating something, you don't
Mhm.
know from here.
Right. So it's almost like it's got to be lichen of some sort
Yeah,
to feed off the rock itself.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be the natural explanation.
Right. Right.
Is there something underneath there?
There's certainly the brightest part of it at the center, if you like, kind of here,
Yeah.
is certainly a mound of this stuff giving off most of the illumination.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
So
he says to Vera. Yeah.
all right. Well, so the good news is that I have the appropriate tool on hand. So I have a machete. So before I hack into it, I think I will throw a scene towards my nephew. I like the idea that like there's a picture in a book that he's reading while he's studying late at night that looks eerily like a stylized version of this fungus.
Oh, love it. Love it. I can't remember what he's studying. But
we have not established that.
No. So what is he studying that includes anything like this?
It could be you know what, maybe he is going after, or he's sort of following his father's footsteps and is studying old texts, in particular texts related to the Voynich manuscript for a term paper, right? You know.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So yeah, he is now a target. Your stress goes down by 1. That was really painful, but still roll a dice, because if it comes up 6, you lose an extra stress.
All right. I'm just writing this down.
I can't spell Voynich. I've had to go.
I have it right here. A facsimile, obviously, but you know, I could walk over and double check the spelling in a second. But as a it's a botanical text of the cryptographic interest potentially. All right.
Fine.
So roll for the die.
The audience is just wanting a 6.
I got a 3.
Just the 1. Okay. So
Yep.
so stress goes down
Second
by 1.
highest roll of the game.
Hey, you're really crushing it. You want to take a piece of this, scrape it off the wall or whatever, yeah? Is that the plan?
So I was going to more directly cut into it and see if there's something under, like see how deep it goes, see if it's rock or something else underneath.
So you kind of want to walk into the moor.
It is
sorry,
that big.
Did I describe it as a moor? I'm sorry. You simply want to walk towards the light.
Sure.
Bright light.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to invoke my second complication.
Okay.
Which is where's it gone? This doesn't feel right. You have a bad feeling about the obvious way forward. Something bad will happen unless you go around or do something else.
Okay. Do we have an obvious way around?
You don't, but I guess what I'm responding to here is your intent to go and cut into it.
Okay.
You know, as you come up, you know, you haven't trodden on any of it yet, but you get a very bad feeling that something, you know, never get off the boat. There is something, the hairs on the back of your neck go up, almost as though it knows that you are about to do it harm, and it is warning you.
Okay. So if I'm getting this, like, as I approach it, it begins to, right, it begins to sort of, okay, fair enough.
So do you proceed with your plan?
Well, I'm going to hesitate, at least at first.
And, I've got a bad feeling about this, guys. Does anyone have a better suggestion?
Can Tony MacGyver something awesome?
You can certainly try.
Well, you need to give me a little bit of guidance as to what the awesome might look like.
Tony might need that too, but
What have you got in mind, Jocko? Says Tony.
Hey, Tony, this is your job. MacGyver something awesome.
I mean, I've had an idea that I'll throw in the pot when you lot have had a go.
It doesn't have to. I just, might Tony have some sort of unique thing to, well, how about, is there anyone have any background or a contact that might give us more info on how to?
I was about to make that suggestion. There is a move called Call on a Contact. All it does is cost a point of stress. They can't solve a problem for you, but they can provide fictional positioning.
Well, I think at this point, I will at least try to poke one of the fronds with the machete.
Okay.
And see.
Not that kind of contact, but sure, that works. That works.
So prod it.
Because we're 30 minutes down into a cave. It's going to be hard to call a contact from here.
No. Call on a Contact is a flashback.
Oh, fair enough. But
yeah,
yes.
They don't need to turn up with an earth mover. This could be, so I mean, if you have a look right down below gear, if you hit the expertise column, you'll see a whole range of different kinds of contacts that could have set something up or give you positioning to do something. My eye has fallen upon librarian. They can tell you about weird shit. Because there is no law kind of or arcane law expertise for operators in this, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the world. So is there anyone who wants to call on a contact that might have in conversation 6 months ago, or maybe a day or two ago, might throw light on this?
I mean, Tony's fine too, but he also is the only one that's done a contact so far, so willing to leave the floor open to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, if no one wants to, Jocko too, but I kind of feel like Vera, like the Forest Service.
Yeah,
right.
But call on a contact costs a point of stress. So I will admit that I'm not expecting Vera to step into this one.
Gotcha,
yeah, I can call on a contact, but don't expect me to be on your side by the end of the episode.
Right.
By the end of the session.
Gotcha.
So because I will probably get it. I mean, odds are pretty low. I'm at 4 stress. Odds are pretty low. I won't be at 6 before the end of the episode. So
Jocko questions if you're on his side already, but that's a whole nother issue.
So is there anyone who wants to call on a librarian contact?
Well, honestly, I like Tony because he has the lowest stress.
It looks like everyone's kind of looking at Tony as if, Tony, do you have a solution for this technical challenge?
Yeah, Tony's the contact man. Okie dokie. Tony will invoke his second contact, and he will call up his, we'll go back in time, but he was talking to his librarian friend, Janice.
Janice. Okay, so Janice, and so we cut back to a scene. Maybe when did you meet Janice?
I think I've known Janice a long time actually, but maybe this in particular didn't come up that long ago.
Okay, because I think it's since the wedding.
Right.
And you're shooting the breeze about St. Bridget. Because St. Bridget was, there was a suggestion, maybe you were trying to find out whether St. Bridget might have a holy weapon and it would be worth going back to that church.
Yep.
And Janice knows about all kinds of weird shit. And so Janice says, well, no, the thing about St. Bridget is that, and I love building off what people tell me. So what she says is, the story of St. Bridget is that she gave away her father's sword to someone who is, some poor beggar who couldn't feed their family. So it doesn't sound like she's going to be holding a sword. But the next bit of the story is that the reason she became a saint is that when she died, her grave began to, whenever people went to the grave, they found valuables. She was still helping the poor. And the story goes that these were emeralds. And that, people who would go there because they were poor, they would pray to St. Bridget, and then they just notice in the dirt around the grave, these bright green gems.
Okay.
And what that triggers in Tony's mind is that what you're looking at as you look towards where Vera is kind of, shall I, shan't I? There's a mound, and this fungus, lichen, whatever it is giving off a distinctly greenish light.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And I guess that makes you think that maybe this is the grave of St. Bridget.
Okay.
And that attacking it is probably not a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That doesn't mean you couldn't investigate it in some way, and there might be a technical response to that, or even looking at Vera, maybe you could send a drone to look at it. Just saying.
Yeah.
So with that, with Tony sharing this bit of information, does that encourage Vera to touch this, cut it, walk on it, or do something else? Jocko wants to lick it, obviously, because that might work.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Vera? Because you're the person who's kind of should I, shouldn't I?
Okay, I wasn't sure that I could have a drone for this because I already selected a vehicle, basically.
Oh no, sorry. If you check out the gear list, you will find a kind of a little drone kit, which you get a little controller and a box with a drone in it, and go for it.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the gear list. All right,
yeah, I mean, if the difference is you get one vehicle that can carry you and the crew, but you can carry a tiny vehicle. I can't remember how much space it takes up, so don't feel obliged to have your taser and your.
It's under surveillance drone.
So it is.
Okay,
so it is.
That's why I didn't see it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I can't remember how many gear slots it takes up.
2.
Now, don't feel, you haven't used the taser, you haven't used the machete.
Mhm.
So there is no fictional reason for you to have them until you need them.
Okay.
Because now you're thinking about it, maybe sending the drone up there might be more useful than stepping on it.
Okay. I'm assuming this is since it's a surveillance drone, it's probably an airborne.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
And little camera, infrared, whatever you want, and
Okay.
so you can send this up and get a picture of it, yeah, when you get in there, because it's about 30 paces away, and because of the glow that's quite intense at the center, it's quite difficult to work out what it is. But as you get up close, it distinctly resolves into a more or less shoebox sized shaped tomb. that is covered in this green organic material.
Right.
And actually now as you get close into the green organic material, as you look at it, your initial suggestion it was lichen or moss or something like that. As you get down and get some really close pictures of this off the drone, it has a quite crystalline structure. And I'm conscious that I'm 2 minutes past the hour. So shall we take a swift 5-minute break?
Okay.
Back here, 12 minutes past the hour. Fine,
Sounds
I
good.
will pause. Okay, back from our final break. And there appears to be the tomb of St. Bridget. So, Vera, you've got up close and personal to this. It's kind of filling in all those kinds of details from Janice, Tony's contact, that suggest that this is the tomb of St. Bridget. Do you want to do anything, or do you want to turn to the team and say, what should I do?
Well, I mean, it sounds like Tony has got more information about the saintly tomb here than I do. You know, and I believe St. Bridget is an Irish saint.
Certainly Celtic origins.
Right.
So Tony, Vera looks at you and kind of goes, well.
Tony, upon despite obviously Vera looks at Tony, but Tony doesn't actually take this in. He has, upon his realization of what this most likely is, Tony has fallen into a silent prayer himself, so he doesn't actually notice.
A silent prayer. I think that you haven't selected it, but
yes, I will. Yeah.
Yeah,
the holy symbol, I imagine.
I think that symbol of faith
yes.
is probably because I noticed I thought it was you, but it's Jocko who's actually got one. You know, Jocko so far, you know, perhaps the least religious, but prayer. Okay. I think the only way to do this is to, you know, I'm looking at your expertise, Tony, okay?
Yeah.
Larceny, technical, research. What is Tony saying in this prayer that might persuade St. Bridget to play ball?
Yeah, Tony is essentially saying that despite all that he has done wrong and he is not proud of his situation and how he has come to be a criminal, but that he seems to be with a good bunch at the moment and that there are far worse things out there than, well, Tony.
Tony is not the biggest problem in the world.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give you expertise.
Okay.
Because I think you've invoked your larcenous background there. You've sought forgiveness from St. Bridget. That's pretty cool. I'm going to give you expertise. I'll allow you to include the stress dice if you want to.
Okay.
And I think that this is probably rolling to do something else.
Yeah.
Because, you know, invoking a 1,000-year-old dead saint or so is probably who was probably a Celtic goddess for a millennium before that.
Yeah.
So let's go with roll to do something else.
Okay, let's go. That's a 6.
Whew. When I saw the 1s and 2s, and I thought,
they didn't go too good.
Oh dear. So on a 6, you succeed brilliantly, and the GM will agree with you what extra benefit you get. Wow.
Okay.
So mark intel, because you are learning a lot today, Tony. As you discover more about the war you're waging. Scary, isn't it? Roll for stress when St. Bridget manifests, would you?
Yes. That's a 5.
Yeah, Mr. Cool, up until the point that a pucker saint arrives.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Kate, you see this figure manifest. What reveals its Celtic origins?
Maybe style of dress, like what it's wearing.
Yeah, I get that. So lots of Celtic whirls in its in the decoration that Bridget is wearing. Vera, what makes you glad that you didn't cut into this stuff?
I think the stuff you said, the stuff had a sort of a crystalline texture to it. I think it's sort of like the fronds of it, while they flow like something organic, you can see the sharp edges scissoring back and forth as it sort of flows around the manifestation.
Do you keep the drone up close to Bridget, or do you bring the drone back?
I think I'm going to bring it a little bit back, but probably not all the way.
Okay. Jocko, what's she holding?
Yeah, so she is holding, what I'm thinking is, well, let's make it even crazier. I'm thinking maybe she has some things that allude to Athena, the Greek goddess. So we'll say she has like some helmet, set back on her head. And how about she's holding an owl?
I'm very happy for her to have an owl familiar.
Yeah.
Tony, she is looking at you. You summoned her into existence.
Right.
What are you going to do about it now that she's here?
Well, Tony certainly has a first initial shock at the fact that this has happened. But tries to overcome it at least, and ask if she can help us with what we're trying to find.
That's when the earbeard goes ping. That means that somebody just entered the cave.
Right.
Just so you know.
Okay. Tony will relay that as well in time.
And what you see, Vera is still standing, probably as close, if not closer than you, just on the threshold of this growth. And Vera, what you notice is that at your and Tony's feet, it just withdraws. It's like almost like the tide going out. And there on the ground is a perfectly preserved broadsword. Who picks it up? Or do you just admire it?
If Tony does not rush to pick it up, then I'll do
it. It's heavy, but it's beautifully balanced. I'm not sure you have much experience with, a variety of weapons, but
I've probably used an axe more than anybody else here.
Perhaps so. So it just, it just feels so solid and weighty. And then Bridget is gone in an eye blink, and the tide rolls back out towards you. Kate, what are you going to do?
I think Kate is probably kind of stunned by this. In the same way that we only just encountered a demon in the flesh, not disguised as someone in the last episode. I think seeing the inverse, this kind of saintly figure, I think she's probably, kind of speechless. She's definitely still worried, especially now that there's movement at the front of the cave. But I think she needs to kind of take a second.
Okay, Jocko. Vera's got a broadsword. Tony is looking like, the weight of sin has been lifted from his shoulders. Kate is just open-mouthed. What do we rely on Jocko to do in these circumstances?
Yeah, Jocko's like, all right, team, we got a ping. We probably have company. Let's regroup and get on out of here.
And so what I'm seeing you then is making your way back the way you've come, in the same order. Jocko taking the lead seems logical. Vera, are you
Yeah.
still bringing up the rear?
I'd be okay doing that unless someone else wants to.
Now, Vera, we need to talk about your load. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're currently fully loaded with what you've declared. You didn't use the machete, so I'm not gonna. You can get rid of the machete if you want to. We've not had the ballistic vest in play yet, so you can get rid of that as well. But this thing takes up 2 loads, 2 spaces, gear spaces, simply because it is bulky. It's awkward as much as heavy.
And
And
I thought, does the handgun count as a gear slot or not?
yes.
Because you said we all have. Okay, it does.
Oh,
I wasn't
yeah,
sure.
you don't have to, it doesn't come from your stash at the safe house, and you don't need to call on a contact to get it. You all have
I see.
access to one.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's fine. We'll just make a note. There's a note section at the bottom. Bridget's sword, 2 gear slots. So that's you fully equipped. So Jocko, as you're making your way back the way you've come, following your chalk mark, it's kind of painfully slow because Tony keeps getting, ping, somebody just left, ping, somebody just arrived, ping, ping, so 2 people just arrived, ping, somebody left, ping, ping, 2 people arrived. It's difficult to keep track. And certainly, Tony, though you've got, a connection to your phone, the connectivity down here is not great. And you're more worried about making progress than monitoring exactly what's going on up there. But at the point you get back towards the entrance to the cave, Jocko, you can see that there are half a dozen guys, and they seem to be moving these crates. Yeah? That's why there's coming and going. They seem to be coming in, take a crate, pair of them carry it out. Looks like they're loading up some vehicle outside. I'll tell you that for nothing, Jocko, as you come up, because you'll see them now silhouetted against the light from the cave entrance. What do you do, Jocko?
Yeah, Jocko, regroups with the team, and he's like, well, we have no beef with these guys. Should we let them, get out of the, once they're out of this cave, then we could deal with them if need be outside of it?
And that's when you see them scurrying inside, and you will hear the sound of a helicopter. Just thought you'd want to know.
Okay.
And one of them says, shit, get the camo. And you see him taking a big sheet of camouflage and throwing it over the vehicle outside. Did anybody see anything?
Yeah, I think we hold tight until something happens here, folks.
So what the audience knows is that the SAS are now on site somewhere. And it's not entirely clear who they're coming after, I guess. So, Jocko, you're just going to sit tight.
Well, yeah. So, obviously discussing this amongst the characters.
Whisper.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Well, the SAS, if they catch us here, we might get lumped in with these losers.
We don't know it's the SAS though, right?
No, you don't. No, but you know
Okay.
it's someone with a helicopter that's frightened these guys.
Okay. I guess
That
that's
makes them
it. We
our
don't want to
friends.
be we're not in a position to take these losers on in the cave, and we don't want to get lumped in with them.
Would it be evident to me that the helicopter is military grade?
Oh, I think that a roll to investigate using your vehicle knowledge would be entirely appropriate.
Okay. All right, I will give that a shot. And I will roll stress because, well, we'll see. Okay.
Oh, look, Vera comes good. A 6. you can ask me 2 questions. I've told you it's a helicopter. One of the questions was, is this a military helicopter? It absolutely is a military helicopter.
Okay. And I guess I mean, can I pull off it's a very distinctive helicopter engine noise to know that it's SAS?
You know, that is just like the kind of helicopters the SAS use.
Right.
Which I think
it's not standard. It's not like, it wouldn't be an army transport helicopter. This is a combat helicopter.
It's silenced for stealth operations. So it's got that kind of dull whoop whoop rather than kind of yeah.
Special Forces
helicopter. Now you rolled a 6, so you get an intel because the SAS are involved in this conspiracy somehow. Shit. That's enough to scare the bejesus out of you, Vera. Would you roll for stress, please? I'm wondering how long Lars has got.
I believe that was a 3.
3 doesn't go up. Job's a good one. So yes, I think Vera says, you know, to Jocko, I think that's a special ops helicopter. And now you come to listen to it, Jocko. You've done ops with the SAS. It is absolutely the sound that their adapted helicopters make. Does that change your decision, Jocko?
Yeah, he's more of like group decision. You know what I mean? What the
okay.
I guess what Jocko's thinking is we don't want to get caught by either of these groups. You know, yeah. I mean, I think one side, yeah.
Kate.
So, oh, sorry, go on.
Kate,
no, go on.
What's your view?
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get caught by both. I think it would be easier to talk our way out of the SAS than this other group. We could also just wait here, let the SAS clean it up, and then leave under the cover of darkness.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, SAS hit me. I'm not going to be able to talk my way out of the allegations that the you know, fabricated allegations against me.
Don't I know you? I saw you in bloody Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Fucking cad.
Yeah, I mean, I think waiting it out. I doubt that waiting it out will ever work. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that will just, but
well,
I think it makes sense. It makes sense.
It at least might reduce some of the numbers on both or either side.
Well, do we want to precipitate a conflict between these two parties?
The forest lady has cunningness. Okay, Vera, what are you planning?
Oh, well, I mean, so for example, they've just thrown camo over a vehicle right outside. If I could get the drone out and pull the camo off, that would definitely precipitate a conflict. Alternatively, honestly, we're probably, I mean, the thing that I worry about is that the SAS will probably, if they're looking around the area, they will eventually find our helicopter because it is not covered with camo. It is not, it is concealed from casual inspection. But I mean, and if they're searching the whole area, then they're going to find it eventually. So it's yeah, so at the end of the day, we are probably going to need to distract the SAS more so with these guys, more so than anything else. And we are more likely to be able to make it out in a firefight than we are to sort of wait the whole thing out. But of course, that is far riskier. But if we think we're super lucky, we could just try to wait everything out. Does anybody here think we're super lucky?
Okay, so you're going to try and get the drone to lift this this tarpaulin. Yeah.
Oldest con in the book. Let's you and him fight.
Okay. Let's see how that goes then. So certainly this is with expertise, vehicles, stress die if you want it, Vera.
I will give that a shot. Sure.
Stress die is highest, so stress will go up by 1. But that is a success. So what does this look like? It's not a brilliant success, but it is a success. So what do we actually see?
So what happens is it's not possible to sneak the drone through the cave with these gun smugglers. So it's going to alert. They're going to just suddenly see a drone pop
What's
out.
that noise? Yeah.
Right, and it's going to fly through the cave. Probably a little bit of zig and zag, because I'm flying it from instruments, as it were, rather than directly seeing where it's going. And then catch it out over, and then bring it out, and then see what's going on out in the sort of outside of the cave.
Okay.
And probably it's not so much that the SAS noticed the vehicle that's camouflaged, it's they noticed this drone.
That was my suggestion, yeah. So yeah, these guys who are, they're just squaddies. They're military trained, but they're just squaddies. And there's a kind of, what the fuck is, and it's out. And, you can see that they've got a van, a panel van, that they've tossed some camo over the top, not very expertly, as soon as the helicopter passed over the top. And then you take the drone up and see what you can see.
Sure.
And that's where you will see the kind of slowly spinning down blades of a Black Ops helicopter and a group of half a dozen SAS deploying on the edge of the ravine. And that's when they see the drone. And they are now going to rappel down the side of the ravine and assault the cave, would be your best bet, Vera. It wasn't a brilliant success, so I'm going to get, and no, they're not going to give it away yet by shooting at it. So they will let you keep the drone or let you land it somewhere else. Yeah? Yeah,
I'm going to try to perch the drones so that I can see if anybody starts getting close to our helicopter.
Their back is to the helicopter. They haven't seen your helicopter. Their interest is on the ravine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where their intelligence has sent them.
Right.
So Jocko, that's the state of play. You've got half a dozen paramilitary goons, kind of, in the cave, and Vera's just told you the SAS are at the edge of the ravine above. Do you have a plan?
Oh shit. I don't have a plan, but Jocko better have a plan. All right. Jocko.
How's Jocko as a drill sergeant?
What are you thinking? Jocko,
if you start barking orders at squaddies, they might start following them without thinking.
Okay. That's not crazy. Or, I mean, it's crazy, but, when you have fungoid Bridget, it, makes sense. Yeah, let's see. So what do we want out of these guys? Do we want them out of the cave?
Like, I guess what you want is for you to get away.
Yeah, we want to get away.
You need to look at the very least. You need to create an opportunity for you to flee for your life.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. I'm taking Jocko's taking suggestions.
If we can get these squaddies to rush out, then that gives us a window when they encounter the SAS for us to make it out behind them.
And I will remind you that the note you found, Jocko, implied that they were meeting somebody here to make an exchange.
Yes. Okay. I like that idea. Is there something where we could do is blow the cave?
Yeah, that's
to
what
get 'em
Tony
to
wants to
rush out.
do. Yeah,
Just not until you fled for your life, I think is the
Yeah.
objective.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly. To
yes.
the distraction of the
The,
cave
the
blowing up.
order of events is very important here.
Yes. Well, we could do a couple things. I like Tony maybe setting some detonation that would inspire them to get out of the cave. If we want Jocko to try to get them to leave as well, either from well, we could yeah, I could either try to trick them into getting out.
Well, look, they've loaded most of the stuff, but I have just invoked my final basic complication, which is incoming. Give existing antagonists heavy weapons. Life just got more dangerous. You can see that they've cracked open the last crate, which contains a rocket-propelled grenade launcher. So one of them saying, "Well, what's you got a better suggestion?" As he kind of
Right.
and
Yeah, yeah.
aims at the cave entrance.
I like that. Whoa, wait. So he's aiming out of the cave entrance, right?
In the direction
gotcha.
he believes that yeah.
Okay. Jocko's gonna come out. He's gonna say, don't you dare fire that inside the cave. Let's get out there and let's kick some ass.
Okay, so I think that this is how do I resolve this? I think this is rolling to do something else because I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you expertise because you have the military, you have fieldcraft, you have the military background to know how to address a bunch of squaddies who are not certain what to do. Yeah,
Hyper aggressive and professional.
Indeed.
I think that yeah.
So roll with expertise. You can have the stress die if you have the courage.
Oh, I'm insulted you even asked, but Jocko is cool as ice.
He is cool as ice, and they hear this kind of barked order in an American accent, and out of the gloom comes a guy in tactical gear with a high-powered automatic rifle, and they kind of look at him, and then they say, right, okay, and rocket propelled grenade. One of them grabs an automatic rifle that they crack from, somebody else takes a submachine gun, a couple of grenades, and they wait for command, Jocko.
All right, yeah. I think Jocko has to lead them out. If he can't tell them to get out of there. So he is going to he's gonna have to lead them out the mouth of the cave.
Okay. And one of them says, we were expecting somebody else. He clearly thinks that you're the buyer.
Okay.
What's the plan, boss?
I was expecting you guys to have a clue too. So I guess we're even.
So Jocko, you are going to run out. You're going to lead them out into the ravine and hope you take better cover than they do.
Yeah, and the idea is to lead them away, to give the rest of the team a chance to sneak out, whatever they do. Yeah.
Okay. Because the SAS are above the cave, so it's possible that right in close to that edge of the ravine, there might be a blind spot. Mm-hmm. So, okay, Jocko, make a dash for it. Firing into the air as you go. I don't know. What do we see?
I guess he's not firing because he doesn't want to fire on him, he might be firing into the air, whatever. Yeah. So he's getting out. He's taking a look. He's barking orders on where he wants people to go. And he does ask for cover, right? He will say, okay, cover me. I'm going out, all that good stuff.
Fine. And so we see Jocko, it's Butch and Sundance, isn't it? Jocko goes out. The others follow, firing, doing what he does, which is firing into the sky. Yeah. I think Jocko, I need you to confront the conspiracy and its pawns, not because you're going to do any harm to them, but because you're at risk of harm.
Yeah.
So this is, you have expertise, stress die if you want it, but would you also roll the top two, I beg your pardon, failure dice?
Yep. All right.
6
Oh,
on the
all
stress
right.
die, stress goes up, but you perform brilliantly. All the fire is following these guys because the SAS are up top. They're covering what they know to be the cave entrance. That's where they saw the drone come from. As these guys run out, they're kind of. But in terms of Jocko, not a scratch. You're in cover on the far side of the ravine. Some of these squaddies have taken cover behind the van. Does anybody want to do anything else apart from flee for their lives? Kate?
Tony's gonna blow the place when everyone's out. Just
Kate, flee for your
Fleeing-
life.
fleeing sounds
that's
good
what
to me.
Tony does. That's what Tony does to holy sites that have totally cleansed his soul. Let's blow them.
Oh, he just doesn't
no,
want
he's
the
concealing
conspiracy
it.
to have
He-
access
yeah,
to it.
exactly,
That's okay.
concealing it.
Yeah, I mean, this could become a pilgrimage site, but we'll put that to one side. Okay, flee for your life.
I
To be
concur.
honest, Kate, I'm going to give you expertise because I think your tradecraft allows you to kind of do this, stay as close to that ravine wall as possible and go. Yeah. So
Sounds
with
great.
expertise, stress die if you want it.
What is my current stress? Yeah, I will definitely take the stress die. I do not want to get shot right now. Or maybe ever.
I do want you to get 5. I do need you to also roll the top failure dice just in case.
Oh, sorry, the top 1 or 2?
Just the top one, because
Top one,
you're not
okay.
the target in this. It's just no, that's fine. So stress goes up by 1, but you succeed on a 5 with flee for your life. You're home free. You got away without any complication or benefit. I get the sense Tony wants to be last.
Yeah, Tony's last.
So
I
Vera,
need to get to the helicopter. Yeah.
flee for your life to the helicopter. I'm not seeing much expertise on your side, I have to say.
Mhm.
So you're without expertise. Stress die if you want it, or do you want to seek relief from the horror first?
I guess I'm going to express concern about Tony because I think he's impressed me on this mission as my member of the team I care about the most.
Okay. Tony, you're going to stay or you're going to let Vera shepherd you out first?
Sure, we can go together if if that works.
So Vera, do you want to seek relief from the horror and share a moment with what I'm sensing is you want to share a moment with Tony?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he basically saved my life there at the tomb. So and you know, gosh darn it, I'm not going to let him die here. So I have anything to do with it.
So you are reminding an operator you care most about of something you share. Reduce your stress by 1 and roll a dice to see what the fallout is, if any.
Okay. Rolled a 1.
Tony, you feel that she's milking the relationship, and you feel bad. So either, Vera, you can't use your expertise, or you can think about Lars. You can remind the audience of Lars and mark him as in the wind.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna risk I'm gonna turn off the expertise.
Fine.
It's not like I'm going to be flying a helicopter anytime soon.
No, exactly. I mean, what are you going to do the expertise for? So,
Right.
Yeah, let's have you flee for your life then, without expertise, even if you had any. Do you want to include the stress die and the first failure dice, just in case there's a ricochet?
Yes, I'm including the stress die.
Okay. Oh, that's
All
cool.
right.
That's cool. The ricochet doesn't hit. The 4 gets you away scot-free. You have caught up with Kate. Jocko, you disappeared into some undergrowth on the far side of the ravine. Yeah. So I think that you have escaped. I'm not going to make you flee for your life because I think that that role was good enough to get him out there. So you're heading back to the helicopter as well. Tony, this leaves you as the last man at the cave mouth.
Righto.
What do we see you do?
We see Tony attempt his cool guys don't look at explosions moment as he leaves away from the cave to blow it up without looking at what's happening behind him.
Okay. Now the panel van, the back is open, and most of the explosives are in the back of the panel van.
Right.
So do we see you kind of just tinkering with something at the back of the van and then running for it?
Yeah.
Okay. There are plenty of explosive materials in there. You don't need to mark any gear.
Okay.
You simply have to flee for your life. I'm going to give you no expertise, and then we'll work out once you've fled for your life whether that goes off. Okay.
Okay. We will roll with stress for fleeing.
And the first failure dice, just because there's a lot of
Yep.
gunfire going on. None of it directed at you. Stress goes up by 1.
Stress goes up by 1.
And 3. You can escape, but agree with the GM how you attract attention, mark heat, and what or who you must sacrifice or leave behind. I don't think it's going to go off.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to mark heat because we will see. We'll get a view from an SAS. Oh, heat's already at attack. I'd forgotten about that. Can't get any worse.
No.
But so the SAS get a picture of you as you're leaving. But sadly, the explosion doesn't go off.
Okay.
Then you're back at the helicopter. Vera, you needed that. You didn't have any expertise. You do need to fly him out of here.
Yes.
Let's rock and roll with that then.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be strategic, I guess. I'll be risky. Okay, let's be risky. So I can, if I spend stress to use a contact, that reactivates my expertise, correct?
Stress would have gone up, yeah.
So I'm going to do that. I want to when I'm talking to it's basically about I want to have a comms cover set up with whoever arranged for me to get the helicopter.
Okay.
So
the closest expertise for a contact would be a cleaner. They can erase the traces you leave.
Right. So yeah, that sounds well, I mean, either a cleaner or a quartermaster, right?
I think cleaner probably better because a quartermaster provides equipment. I think this works nicely for giving you some kind of jamming cover.
Yeah. So I'm going to say I arrange that, and then I am going to take the terrible position of rolling at 5 stress with stress because I'm nervous, but I get expertise.
You have expertise. No failure dice. Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right. So here we go. Let's hope the stress die is not highest. It is not.
The audience leaps to its feet, cheering. Vera, walking the bloody edge of stress all afternoon, sweeps away over the hills. We cut back to the SAS who still have a pilot on board. The co-pilot says, hang on, what was that? No, must have been just a fucking bird on the radar. And you are away and clear. Spot on. With a broadsword. So I think we have time for end of session. So let's just go through this. Did the team achieve the stated objective of the operation? You certainly did. You found a holy weapon. So that turns heat down by 1. Sadly, there was no high-powered conspiracyist to take out. So you didn't take out a member of the conspiracy who mattered. Maybe invoking the blessing of St. Bridget. I'm going to say the blessing of St. Bridget is the polar opposite of killing a demon and therefore counts. So, and you all reduce stress by 1 because of the successful op. That is where we get to until we do downtime next time. Yeah. With the broadsword of St. Bridget in a black holdall in the back of a helicopter. Brilliant. Well, I had great fun with that. Shall we do a quick stars and wishes? Let me go left to right. Let's start with Greg. Stars?
Yeah, awesome session. I thought that was a lot of fun. I mean, I definitely liked the fungus and Bridget, and then the, having the, I think the complication of getting out of the cave with the 2 people fighting was really cool. I like that. Yeah, stars for Vera for right in the edge. That was awesome. And then, yeah, I was not aware of this Vonyik manuscript. That looks pretty wild. I got to, and definitely stars.
Well, just to be clear, we don't set homework, but we reward your private study.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And then I love Tony's prayer thing. I thought that was a cool twist on the character. And yeah, I hate to say it, but like Kate didn't stick out, didn't stick out in my mind this time.
Yeah,
but,
no, I wasn't certain who was going to talk
say.
your way out. Yeah, I felt bad about that, Kate. I couldn't think of a way.
That's okay.
Short
Yeah.
of trying to talk down Bridget was the only way I could think of to get you in there at that point. So yeah, I was aware of that. That my wish for next time is to have more human interaction.
Yeah, but I thought it was interesting because this was like a setup totally made for Jocko, right? Like, and I think that's what happens, right? Certain setups, not all the characters, some of them are fish out of water. So yeah, that was awesome. It's interesting as far as wishes go, and this isn't really a wish. Well, it's a mix. It's like, this was awesome. I wish we had 15 more minutes to do it. You know what I mean? It works. There's always ask him wanting, have him wanting more totally works. But I think it's interesting. I feel this format totally would lend itself to like the 4-hour session, just because it's almost like a one shot, albeit because of how things wrap up. But I mean, that's just neither here nor there.
No, I'd agree.
Still a lot of fun and satisfying. So
good. Moving along, Sean. Any stars?
Yeah, this is great. Big stars to everyone, but definitely start that one. That was fantastic. I think you weaved in lots of really cool stuff into that one, so that was really fun.
Well, you gave me plenty to work with, folks.
Big start to Jocko for taking the lead on the kind of breaking into the cave in general. Just I think it suited Jocko and it worked well. Big start to Vera with everything with the helicopter and the drone. That was all brilliant in the character, I think. Yes, unfortunately for Kate, maybe not her session to shine, but I still thought that it was nice to have her along, like in the helicopter, should not like run out of it like Jocko. Rappel down and do crazy stuff. Someone a bit more, on that side. So
yeah, you need someone with their feet on the ground as a role model. Yeah, absolutely. Wishes for next time, Sean?
I think my only wish is that it looks like maybe we're coming to maybe a combination to go attack Bentley or something of the likes next time. Maybe actually bring him down or something could be kind of cool. Something like that might be fun.
I think certainly an opportunity to confront Mr. Bentley seems like a no-brainer now. With some more human interaction to get you where you need to go, perhaps.
Definitely, yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, stars all around. It was great. Kate definitely didn't have a lot of opportunity to shine, but I as a person was okay with that because I felt like everyone else got really cool moments, and Kate's had a good amount of stuff to do the last couple, um, especially going into the climax finale. I liked this one being different and in a way more grounded. Like, we still had the saint, but we weren't up against demons. We didn't have up until the end, we didn't have a need to get into combat. So it was a nice, like, almost calm before the storm, where the next one is just going to be off the chain, um, which is my wish. I'm really excited to see, how we get to use the sword, and what kind of portal to hell stuff we see, and all of that stuff.
So I've written down off the chain, holy sword, portal to hell.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah. All right, okay. We'll try for at least 2 out of 3. Okay. And finally, Mendel, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, so star to Greg, because I like how the Jocko Vera dynamic is building and working in terms of like handing off the sort of leadership. So I'm stars Tony as well, especially for especially that moment, where you're slow walking away from the explosion and then it doesn't happen. And just that. So and I should give a star to Alan for that as well. Michael, I want to give you stars just for Kate being shy about this whole mission, in a sense, in a way that she is not normally shy. So yeah, and I guess speaking to that, I do have one specific mechanical wish, actually, which is I kind of want to see how negotiation differs from persuasion.
Fine. Right.
Because I've been curious about that. I picked that ability because I was looking for abilities that made sense that weren't already picked. And just like to me, I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, because I've just been writing up the descriptions. Persuasion is charm and charisma, and people doing things because they just like you, because you're likable and charming. Negotiation, you need to have something that they want, or they need to think you have something that they want. And that it's a transactional arrangement, I guess.
Right.
And in a longer term run, it also varies the way they go away, in the sense that if you charm the pants off someone, they might even give you their pants next time. If you negotiate with them, they might want more next time. And then authority is, don't come back next time.
Right.
But that's what I'm trying to embody in the text, certainly. Okay, my stars. Michael, I do want to give Kate a star, because I think that when we came to her, we got that kind of sense of, I am a fish out of water here. And I thought that added to the overall ambience of what was going on. Star to Jocko for Greg, for Jocko's kind of hoorah. Yeah, I loved it. Vera, I think, Mendel, that you're playing her with that sense of authority, that's coming through. If okay, I've got a machete, but come on. But then a really nice kind of look at Tony, maybe, and Sean. I wasn't certain how you're going to get the sword. I'll be honest with you, I had nothing planned. I didn't know whether Kate was going to talk Bridget round, and she was going to be a more kind of mundane personality to work with. But, as soon as you kind of went to prayer, that opened up a whole different box of tricks for me. So that was really clever, I thought, going with that instinct. Made it more weird in a good way. So yeah, no, thanks for that. My wish is we need to have interpersonal skills at play next time. This can't be somewhere you can blow your way into. wherever it is, and I might well, Michael, remind me, I might give you a choice of where we place this, so we can build out from that idea that this mustn't be easy to get into. And I think, yeah, maybe Tony needs to successfully blow something up, conceivably. So maybe there needs to be something like that. I sense there's going to be a bit of tension between Jocko and Vera about who gets to carry a broadsword. I'm just curious. I'm just wondering, and I am keen to see whether we can push Dr. Foley into the wind, or Lars into the wind, or whether Mama Smithson's going to crop up. Yeah. So those are my wishes. But that was a great session, guys. Thank you for that. I'm going to stop the recording. So wave bye-bye to the internet.